This is McCook's Mr. Bill. It's an honor to have you here. Throughout my last 34 years as Mr. Bill, I've continually tried to keep the young people of this city and people in general from breaking any laws. Never give a cop the right to destroy your life, I preach. At the same time, it's kind of difficult because in Colorado, just across the invisible border, it's legal to have marijuana now. Legal to have marijuana. But not over here. You can spend many years in prison in Nebraska for having marijuana. Now the most state right now is down south. One of the states down there has, for possession of 1/4 of an ounce of marijuana, you can get 20 years in prison. 20 years in prison. Yeah. Now this is the same government, though. You got to remember, this is the same government that knows of a man that professed to use cocaine, used cocaine, professing that he had done it. And he's president of the United States. Yeah. A lot of mixed messages to the kids. Makes it a lot harder for people like myself trying to do some missionary work and keep the kids out of trouble. Yeah. But it gets worse. Add fuel to the fire, almost anybody can get in trouble nowadays. This last year alone, some 30,000 new laws and regulations were passed and became law in the United States. 30,000. And any one of them could take a massive amount of money from you or put you in prison, where you'll get beaten and raped every day for the rest of your life. Yeah. Yeah. A great example of an unknown law was a gentleman here in town. His wife had an aunt, elderly lady, in a low-rent housing, and they got her groceries. They brought her groceries all the time, and they also, the man would or the woman would go pick up prescription drugs for her, as she needed them, as most elderly do. And the man happened to have gone out. He tells that he went out, and the pharmacist said, "You missed it by 2 weeks of going to prison, maybe for as much as 20 years. He said, "What did I do?" And they said, "You are not blood relative to the elderly lady that you're picking up that prescription." And he said, "Well, my wife is her niece. I'm the husband of her, of the niece." And he said, "I don't see a problem." And he said, "If you're not blood relative, you're looking at as much as 20 years. 20 years. He missed going to prison for 20 years, maybe, by 2 weeks, because of a law that he didn't even know about. 30,000 laws on the books. How many do you know of? My third story about the number 20 is that the federal government, you know, those wonderful people, they got a law passed decades back saying that if you come into this country illegally, a second time you're caught, it's automatically federal penitentiary time, 20 years. 20 years in the pen for that crime. Well, nobody's going to prison for 20 years for that anymore. They ignore that law. They ignore it. 20-year prison sentence. I wonder, though, all the rest of the people that are being charged and sent to prison for 20 years, how fair is that to them? How fair is that to the American citizens themselves, being charged quite often with laws that they don't even know what they are? They have no clue of all of the laws on the books. How fair. And my father always made the point, he said, if it isn't fair for everybody, then it's a crime against humanity. McCook's Mr. Bill. You have a good day.